everyone, so I figured today I would share a few books that we went through last year in just reading at home, and share ones that we liked and even ones that I was like a little bit confused about. But they're all good books, so I'll share them with you and kind of give you a brief synopsis, like really quickly. It's very hot out here, but it was the only quiet place in my house, so but it's probably like 90 degrees out here. And it's hot, but that's all right. It's kind of like a sauna. But so I'm gonna start with like the fun books that may or may not have a moral. Here's a Penny. This follows a little boy named Penny, and it's just about him growing up. He has a cat. They get into little adventures. It's a cute little story. So we enjoyed this one. It was a quick read. Then there are these two, In Grandma's Attic. These stories are great. Just takes you back in time. Some of, like, in this one, I know it talks about, like, that big poofy thing that goes under the dresses. Like, I would have to look up what it's called, actually, but I had to explain to my kids what that was called, or what that was. A hoop skirt. For the most part, these stories, the kids could understand them, and they're really fun stories. They're biblical. They come with Bible morals. Then we have Mystery in the Pirate Oak. It's about, like, there's a tree that has a mystery to it, and one of their neighbors thinks something's buried there, and then a new guy comes, buys the land with the tree is on, so that they have to kind of befriend a grumpy boy, and it's just a fun little sweet story. We really liked that one. So then, moving on to some biographies. I love to read my kids' biographies. So I got this one this year from Lightkeepers. It's a set of 10 boys. Each of the books has 10 different boys who changed the world in some way. So like this one will have Billy Graham, John Newton, George Mueller. Or you have 10 boys who made history with, like, George Whitefield, Billy Sunday, A.W. Tozer, D.L. Moody. So it tells their story from how they grew up, whatever knowledge we have about that, and then kind of what their ministry was and how God used their life. And it's really, really good. Then we had this Toothpaste Millionaire book, which my kids really enjoyed. And it's the story of how a boy started off to make... my neighbors are going into their farm, but it started off with this boy who wanted to make cheaper toothpaste, and so he does it, and he starts selling a bunch of toothpaste, and it talks about businesses and kind of the troubles that he had with, like, how to be an entrepreneur, just the troubles and challenges that comes with that, and then it has friendship in it, and it's very sweet. Treasures of the Snow is a historical fiction book. This one is very, very sweet. I loved this book. I haven't read it to my kids yet, but I read it myself, so we're going to read it this year. But this one is it's set in, like, somewhere in the mountains. It might tell us, but Switzerland. Switzerland, up in the mountains. It's snowy, but it's obviously with Treasures of the Snow. But it's a book about forgiveness. It has, at the very, very beginning, it has a sensitive topic of parental death, but it's dealt with very, very, like, gently. And it does have a few, like, intense scenes, I suppose, but they're not, like, too intense. They're okay. But it's an emotional book, but it's a very sweet book. It gives a clear gospel presentation at the end, and it's a really good book. Then we have Flag in Hiding. This is a really good book for right now, and anytime, but it kind of gives you a pride of what people fought for when our country was first founded. And so it's about this boy's family. It's about a family, a brother and sister, and then they have a little sister, and then a dad and mom, and they live in a town that's loyal to England. The boy is not. The boy, he believes in a free country, and he kind of like goes through figuring out, is his family on England's side? Is his family on the side of the Patriots? And then what are they fighting for? And kind of walks you through like what life would have been like living in a town like that. So it's really good. It's a very, very sweet book. By the Great Horn Spoon. This one you might hear of a lot because everybody loves it. This is a fun book. It's about the gold rush. It is just fun. You will love these characters at the end of the book. Car, hang on. I'm cooling myself with the air, but then we have Mail Wagon Mystery. We like mystery books in this house, so Mail Wagon Mystery is also set back in time, and it kind of goes like who stole the bags of money from the mail wagon, and so it's got a little bit of a Romeo Juliet type of family drama thing. In a way, I don't know if it's Romeo and Juliet. It's more like what were those two families? The two feuding family sides, and so it kind of goes into that kind of thing. But I really liked this book. It's a little bit more. The vocabulary is a bit different, so it's not too bad. But there are a few things where I'm like, okay, I have to explain that. Like, for example, one of the sentences on the first page, she's talking about her brother. She says, he was 13 and had a sense of humor, which tempted him at times beyond the borderline of perfect propriety. I love that sentence. I always remember it's in this book. But you have to explain to your children what that means if they, if they're younger. Then getting into the more, well, I'll tell you, I should have put this book in the sun. I should have put this book in with the fun books, but this is Homer Price, and Homer runs into different problems and he learns he solves them in different, like, fun ways, and he comes across, like, just things that happen to him, like, on the front cover, these donuts. It's just so many donuts, he has to figure out what to do with them all, but that's a fun book, just a fun read. Then we have two that are a bit on the more interesting side. So the first one, which I wasn't sure if I really enjoyed this one, it was The 13 Clocks. This book is kind of like a Monty Python in a book. It's very weird. It's got very strange humor. I understood the humor, but I also, like, didn't. And I was like, I don't know, but I guess. So you might really like this if you like that type of humor. It was interesting. It also has a little bit of, like, kind of gross, like, I'm gonna slice you from gusset to, like, made up words, but, like, gross. So I don't know. It was fine. And then the last book is The Phantom Tollbooth, which I loved. It has a ton of idioms in it. It's hilarious. It is Milo. Is his name Milo? Yeah, it is. Milo, he goes through like this toll booth, which takes him into, like, a different land, and he goes through, like, a numbers land, a vocabulary land. The doldrums were just because he wasn't thinking, he ends up in the doldrums. It's just really cool. I like it. It's very and so he basically has to help these two big cities, the number one, the Digitopolis, and then whatever the word one was. He has to go find the two princesses of Harmony, and I forget their names, but Rhyme and Reason, it's on the back. Rhyme and Reason, they have to go find those two princesses to set everything right again and make everybody happy and peaceful with each other, and no more, like, no warring, basically. But this is a really fun book. I really liked this one, but it is long, but it's fun. So I would say that you'd like this one. It just introduces topics in, like, such a creative way. So those were all the books I pulled, but we have a lot more that we have read or that we're going to read, but those are some of the ones those are what we read last year, mostly. So I wanted to share those and just give you some ideas for if you haven't read those books. So I hope that was an informational video.